he given to us so that we can draw from that, because the only way that we can get to our higher self is by conquering those 5 universal foes of man.
Right.
See, and we know that in chapter 41, inconstancy tells us to say, establish unto thyself principles of action. So if we ain't living right here, there's no possible way that we're going to be able to understand the creation and fall of man, or how even get back to Allah. So when I look at this, I have to go with inside myself and ask myself, because these things ain't outside myself, even though I may think they outside myself. Because why? Because Allah gave me a will to choose the difference between right and wrong. So it ain't outside myself, even though I may say it is, because I can blame everything. I can blame everybody for everything. But then I had to realize and understand, God was trying to get me to look at me.
That's right.
He said, look at you.
That's right.
Look at what you doing.
That's right.
See, I done gave you everything it takes to save the nation. This is what the prophet said.
That's right.
And the prophet speaks for Allah. So if the prophet say that I gave you everything it takes to save the nation, he said, now take it and save yourself, then I got to go into it and I got to feed myself with this. But I didn't do it. And then I realized that's how the Holy Mecca, the Holy Quran of Mecca says. It says, do you not say you believe and not be tested? What is it for?
Praise
What is those 5 universal foes of man if they ain't nothing but tests? To do what? To see whether or not, how far you are in your faith, in your belief, or are you anywhere closer to being in fruition? Meaning that you know that this is the truth. See, and when we know this is the truth, then we can live it anywhere, we can talk it anywhere, and go up against anybody.
That's right.
Why? Because we know we're speaking because Allah is placing that seed. As he placed that seed in us, and as that seed begin to open up, because the only way that seed going to open up, we say water. Well, water is what? We talking about physical water? Of course not.
Come on, Mom.
But when we start feeding with this, and living this,
That's right, Mom.
and eating this,
That's right,
That's
Mom.
right.
and breathing this,
That's right, Mom.
only then will we be able to understand and be able to reach our goal. And my goal is to try to get back to my Father God Allah. Can I get back there by myself? Of course not. Because every living thing is bound by according to every other living thing. So that spiritual connection is connected each and every one of us.
That's
And
right.
even those who don't even know,
That's
the
right.
unconscious.
That's right.
See, because Allah is love, as our chairman for this evening said. So if Allah is love, how in the world can I look down on my brothers and
That's right.
sisters
That's
that
right.
That's
struggle?
right.
See, because Allah may not have been ready for them.
That's right, Mom.
Just like Allah, as the brother was
That's
speaking
a fact.
about the Holy Quran of Mecca, and how when Adam was told to read creation, and when the angels couldn't read creation,
That's right.
then if Adam can read creation, what can we do?
That's right.
What can we do? I mean, if we stand in tune with Allah and the Prophet Noble to Ali, then there ain't nothing we shouldn't be able to do.
Praise
And I
Allah.
did stuff on a small level.
Praise Allah.
That's
That's
right.
right.
I'm talking about a small level.
That's
I ain't even reached my spirit yet, but on a small level, I can see how Allah can work through me, to Prophet Noble to Ali, or the other way around.
That's right.
Through Allah, through the Prophet Noble Ali, through me,
That's
through
right.
my action.
Right.
But see, that's only because being around brothers that were striving the same way, and sisters that were striving the same way I was striving.
That's right.
See, I couldn't be just like Jesus, and I think it's chapter 9, I think it is, where Jesus sat with the thieves, murderers, and the poor.
Yes.
When he sat with them, he knew what they were
That's
doing.
right.
He knew what they were
That's
doing.
right.
But the
That's
thing
right.
is, what we have to learn and what I have to learn is that when I sit with them, I got to get up and leave just like I came.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's
See, and that's what
that's
Brother
the-
Jesus did.
yeah.
And that's
That's right.
being able to have
Yeah.
that control and that power over
That's
ourselves.
right.
But we know that
That's right.
power is illusion, gonna pass
That's right.
away. We know that before us is the omnipotence of the law, the unlimited power. So if we can connect with that, man,
That's right.
I'm telling you, man,
That's
it's
right.
not nothing that we can't do. It's not nothing that we can't conquer.
That's right, Mama.
That's right.
Islam.
Except for when Allah and that storm out there. Then them storms come and that lower self, not the lower self, but the lower self ain't got nothing when Allah for real. And he don't got nothing on me.
That's
That's
right.
right, Mama.
That's
That's
right.
all in my mind.
That's right. That's
But
right.
one of the definitions that I was looking up, I did a little homework. I'm gradually getting back.
Islam.
I'm gradually getting back because I got lost. How did I get lost? I tell you I got lost.
You get lost more.
I got lost because when Allah blessed me with this blessing, I treated it as a blessing, but it clouded my judgment in a lot of areas. But I knew where my home was.
Islam.
See, I ain't never got that one, cause I know the only place I can get my salvation is right here,
That's
and
right.
that's the only place we
That's
can
right.
get it.
That's
That's
right.
right.
I can't get it out
That's
in the
right.
street.
That's right. That's a
I
fact.
can't even get it in school.
That's a fact.
So if I can't get it in school, and I can be educated in the school, there's something wrong with this picture. But I can get it here. That's why Allah seen
That's right.
fit to send the Prophet Noble Ali to the Ajax of North America so that we can learn about ourselves, so that we can learn to love instead of hate. And we still ain't got it. We still missed the ball. Prophet gave it to us. We need to learn to love instead of hate. Say love is the savior of the world.
That's right.
So if love is the savior of the world, then that must mean I got to grab hold of that. But I had somebody tell me it's 17 different definitions to love. I said, I only know one. I only know one. That unconditional love.
Islam.
Even though that dictionary may have those 17, but is it real? Or is it fake? Get you to believe in love. I love you because you give me $100. I love you because you give me $50. I love you because you buy me a pair of shoes. But why not love me because of me
That's right, Mama.
and not the possessions that I
That's right.
had?
That's
See,
right.
because when we get caught up in that, we lose, we
That's
way
right.
off the mark.
That's right.
But this definition, I looked up philosophy of life.
Islam.
And when I looked up philosophy of life, I found that it say philosophy and the essence of philosopher elements are centered on belief, concept, or ideas and attitude. So my attitude towards the way that I deal with life is going to determine how closer I can get to my Father God, Allah. So if I treat, and then I go into chapter 8. See, it's so wonderful, because when it takes you there, but see, the thing is, I can quote this all day long. Prophet Jesus knew a lot of stuff. Prophet Muhammad knew a lot of stuff. Prophet Noble Ali knew a lot of stuff. But the key was, they lived it.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
See, and then the
Right.
thing is,
That's right.
that's where I'm striving to do
That's
every
right.
day.
That's
right.
right.
Even though it's a challenge.
That's right.
But
Yes, it is.
I realize and understand that if we didn't have that challenge, how will we measure
We wouldn't. Talk about it.
our good from our bad?
Talk about it.
See, and how could we even begin to measure our strength? We couldn't. So we had to have some type of resistance. I knew we had to have some type of resistance. Why? Because we striving to perfect ourselves. So if we striving to perfect ourselves, then that means that all those things that we going through right here on this plane of things, big man, because we ain't gonna have when we go to the plane of soul. So it's something we gotta grab hold to take us to the plane of soul. What is it? I asked This is what it is.
It's lying.
This is what's gonna get me
It's
on
lying.
the plain soul and get me through that. That's why it's important for us to memorize these divine teachings. Divine. God teachings.
That's right, Mom.
So when I memorized this, and at one time we did do that. I had various different chapters. Down play. But more importantly, I didn't just have them on down play, I was living it. And still living it. Even when I'm struggling, I'm living it. But I'm holding on, as the Steve said, I'm holding on to that boat, and I'm holding on to that car. I'm holding on to Allah with everything I got.
That's right, Mom.
But that boat getting thinner and thinner. That's all right. I know Allah got God.
That's right. That's right.
And
That's
the
right.
prophet over to Ali. All I got to do is not just only believe, because we know belief is what perhaps man think is so. See, but we know that faith is what man knows is so. And we know fruition is man himself, the truth.
That's right,
See,
Lord.
that's when we become that.
That's right.
See, and those steps that we have to take in order for us to become one with our Father God, Allah.
That's
I
right.
came in peace and I leave you in peace. This time.
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. As our chairman was speaking, I did jot down a few things that I heard as he was talking. One of the things that reach out and grab me is this process of unfolding.
It's not.
The prophet tells us in the chapter, he says, perfected man
That's right.
must pass through all the ways of life. See, we have to understand that man is already perfect,
Come on, Mo.
but he is not
Perfect.
perfected.
That's right.
So someone will say, well, what are you saying when you say that? We're saying that the seed is as perfect as the source
That's
from
right.
which it comes.
That's right.
Meaning that it has everything within it necessary to become as intended.
That's right. That's right.
See, so when you talk about perfected man, you're talking about man who has unfolded
That's right.
Islam.
into what he was intended
That's right.
to be. You know, and the more talked about tests, the various tests that we have on life. See, in this chapter, we often call this chapter the our philosophy of life.
That's right.
You understand? Our blueprint, if you will, of life. See, because when you talk about philosophy, as the brother was getting ready to go into, you're talking about now the arrangements in order of knowledge. You're putting it in order where it unfolds into something. So when we look at this chapter, this is our blueprint. It lets us know why we're here. It lets us know what we're made of. And all of this is important because as we travel through the earth, dealing with one another, one of the things you'll find is this: no matter how much you study, and this is one of the things that we run into. See, the prophet, he gives us a formula. You know, he gives us some knowledge in which he begins to explain to us who we are. One of the most important things that he lets us know is that God, that the Spirit is within us.
Right.
And that if we use the proper procedures, then we can tap into this God within.
Right.
See, to use those procedures, the prophet tells us to establish unto ourselves principles of action. That's the first thing. See, because if you can follow those principles and stay in line with those principles, then you can move closer to tapping into God. See, but that's where the struggle comes in that cannot be told in words. No matter how smart we think we are, no matter how far we think we can climb, you see, no matter how far you can make a mistake the very next day. None of us have went mistake-proof or mistake-less. We're making mistakes as we go along, but we're here to learn from those mistakes. So you got to learn from them. That's why the prophet said you need to learn to love. instead of hate. And you know, sometimes when we come into Moorish Science Temple of America, and don't let us been in here 5 minutes. See, we start thinking that we even got that handle on love and got it down pat. You understand? But I've been in a situation where people said that they loved me. You understand? But something was strange about the love. Because even in the English language, it says love is a hypothetical construct. Meaning that it must have a behavior to follow it. So you say, I love you, and bust me in the head with a hammer. See, that's a problem with that. See, so sometimes we have a misunderstanding of what the elements, no matter how sharp you are, what love is. See, that's why you're here. If you could master it like that, just based on intellect, the prophet would not have to tell us that we need to learn love instead of hate. It is not your intellect that grabs this. It is your spirituality that grabs this. And you can only open the third eye when you get to a certain level. See, a certain level in his instructions. Having followed his instructions. Having cleaned the vessel up. See, the vessel must be clean.
That's right.
And oftentimes, I remember there was once a brother. And he had a high title, and you know, but people were sending their sister women and stuff around to see him. And then when he went into his lower self, everybody couldn't understand. Oh, that's the great so-and-so. How could he do that? How could you forget that your prophet said to you that we all have a higher self and a lower self? How could you forget that the scriptures say that everywhere the Lord went, Satan went with him? How can you forget that everywhere you go, you carry your lower self? And it's only a matter of time. You understand? See, it's only a matter of time. You understand? It's only a matter of event, impulse, or atmosphere, then you can be right down there demonstrating that same negativity
Just like
that you demonstrated before you met the prophet. Let us not get so arrogant that we believe we're so far removed from yesterday that we can't find ourselves back in yesterday. Because we can.
That's right.
Because we can. See, it is when you start believing that you can no longer make an error. That's when you start making them. That's when it is. When you start believing that you walking on a cloud and everybody else just walking on earth. See, that's when you can make a mistake. See, we walking on earth together. We on this journey together. And every day ain't gonna be the same. Some days Everest Hill might be down there in the lower self. Why? Because the prophet said, nature urges thee to inconstancy, oh man. That's why you got to guard yourself at all times against it. See, because we are the oldest creature that could one day be below the worm and the next be above the angels. We the oldest one can do that. No other creature on earth. It is us. See, and the prophet gives us this chapter. See, I've met a lot of Moorish Americans over the years. And everybody wants to act like they done mastered chapter 1. But chapter 1 is a living chapter.
That's right.
You understand? You have to master it through your life, not through your mouth.
That's right.
It is through your life.
That's right.
That you have to demonstrate this. And I say it and say it again. It don't matter how smart you are, how intellectual you are. I'm talking about your spirituality.
That's right.
See, I'm talking about your spirituality.
That's right.
You know.
Ooh.
I know sometimes I've been heard some things here, and I've been seen some things here, and my lip is all poked out. You understand? But it ain't those things I see in here. It's those things that, how we say, sometimes keep us up at night. Sometimes won't let us sleep in the day. Sometimes won't let you concentrate. Those are the things I'm talking about. See, because those are the things that disturb your soul. You understand? Disturb your spirit. See, and the prophet said this here. He said, in order for man to find himself, he must enter the silence. And he wasn't just talking about you stop moving your mouth. That wasn't what he didn't mean that.
That's right.
See, to enter the silence, one has to do more than stop talking. That's just a part of it. One has to do more than still themselves. That's just a part of it.
That's right.
See, there's some other things go into that. Entering the silence. Oh, you got to enter the silence. And nobody can go in there with you. See, you ain't got no finger to point at as to why you ain't right.
That's right.
You can't point at nothing else but yourself because you're there. Just you.
right.
Nobody else. See, that's why when it come time to meet God, often men say they meet God. They often say that they reach inside to that God inside. But see, very rarely do they do. Very rarely. See, because once you touch the God inside, you even look different. It's like that thing they say about Ramadan. They say when you fast and you have a kind of glow to you. See, but when God has touched your soul, you have a glow then too. You understand? One that cannot be denied nor ignored. People see it. You understand? People will look at you and say, no, that's not the person he used to be. He's somebody else.
That's right.
See, you only get that when you can't be the person
That's
you
right.
used to be no more.
That's
I
right.
shouldn't be able to step on your toe and turn you into
That's
yesteryear.
true. That's
See, because if I can step on your toe and make you what you used to be, then you have not left from where you used to be.
That's a fact.
As simple as that.
Wow.
It is
a fact.
simple as that.
That's a fact.
We all got a lot of work. You know, I know there was a time personally that I thought I had moved up somewhere. Yes, I did. See, but then a brick hit my foot and my mouth began to say all kinds of ungodly things. And I had to say to myself, hey, Brazil, you ain't got where you thought you was.
Islam.
You ain't where you thought you was. See, because the honest thing needs to be done is the atmosphere, the right atmosphere created to bring that devil up out of you.
right.
Yes, he will appear. You understand the Quran of Mecca said he'll come from your left, he'll come from your right, he'll come from in front and come from in back. It said not one.
That's right.
Not one of you. Huh? That's what God said. You know?
That's right.
So Satan gonna come in all them directions. That's what that demonstration on our chest is. That medallion on our chest. That charm on your chest. It's a charm. See, when we really learn what that means and why the prophet called it a charm, then we'll close that circle that's on that thing. You understand? That's what we have to do. But
Islam.
here we are, and it's a blessed night. Oh, it's a blessed night.
Wow.
You know, I had some things in mind. But see, I was taught this here. You have to be able to adjust with the ethos. You have to be able to adjust with the atmosphere and environments that come about. See, because otherwise you'll be stagnated and stuck in yesterday and can't make the necessary adjustments.
Come on,
At
Lord.
this time, without further ado, I'd like to call our next speaker, you know, our Supreme Grand Governor, you know, Brother G. Turner Hill. He is also the Assistant Grand Chief here at Grand Temple 13. I want to make sure I say it
Praise
right. Grand Temple 13.
Praise Allah.
It's not.
Islam.
It's not.
Islam.
It's not.
Islam.
It's not.
Islam,
It's not.
Islam.
as always, I'm going to rise, giving my highest praise and thanksgiving to the great God of the universe, all the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and comprehensive. I want to give honor to his last prophet in these days and founder of the Moor Science of America, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon our prophet. I want to give honor to all true and divine prophets of Allah sent to carry out the mission of leading man back to the straight path, leading man back to the truth about themselves. I want to give honor to the forerunner of Prophet Brother Marcus Garvey. I want to give honor to all past leaders of the Moor Science of America, to the first appointed Supreme Grand Chief, the Supreme Grand Council, Brother E. Mail Hill, up to our current Supreme Grand Chief, other Supreme Grand Council, Brother R. Eversett. I want to give honor to all council members. I want to give honor, special honor to all members of Grand Temple 13 on this holy day for all mosques all over the world. I'd like to first, as is the custom, to read from page 3 and declare my intentions. It says, "Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons there for good, peace, and happiness for all those who love Jesus." Reading from the chapter for tonight. I'm going to read from page 5. The perfected man was passed through all the ways of life, and so a cardinal was full manifest, a nature that sprang forth from fleshy things. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. The thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this cardinal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the plane of manifest, of protoplasm, of mineral, of plant, of beast. But he gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yea, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold, but let him know the cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun, and the spirit of the mighty Allah who rule the solar stars are his protectors and his guide, and they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man is conquered carnal things, his God of flesh will then have served his purpose well, and it will fall, will be no more. Then he will stand untrammeled on the plane of soul where he must full complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul, and these he must overcome, yea, overcome them every one. Thus hope will ever be his beacon light. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on, and victory is sure. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah, and while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the sea will have full opened out, will have unfolded into the holy breath. The God, the soul, will then have served his purpose well, and man will need it nevermore, and it will pass and be no more, and man will then attain unto the blessedness and perfectness in that one with Allah.
Yes, sir.
Islam.
Yes, sir.
With that, I like to briefly say this, that this here is definitely by far one of my favorite chapters in Camelback and off with the Supreme Grand Sheikh was saying. This is definitely a living chapter. And for me, it is a chapter of hope, and it is a chapter of something to look forward to.
That's right.
Because one thing that I understand, the Prophet Noble Jura Ali said that our principles are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These principles come at great sacrifice and at great cost to us individually on this journey.
Correct.
So it's for I to do the focusing on what I must do to make those sacrifices along this journey to reach this state in which the Prophet is speaking about in this chapter. Because in this chapter, in this chapter, those principles are in fact possible.
That's right.
That's
right.
In this chapter, he tells me that there's a lot going to happen between now and then that is really of no consequence. It's really just a part of the journey.
That's right. That's right.
But unto thyself, be true.
That's right.
Reflection is the business of man, and I have to continually reflect on myself. If this be our philosophy of life, or this be the way in which we see life in general, then this has to be the focus beyond everything else. And every action, everything that we do, everything that we put our efforts towards should be about creating the conditions conducive to reach this state.
That's right.
That's right, Mom.
It should be about those things. I
That's
leave
right.
you as I came in peace.
Praise Allah.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
right.
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom.
I'd like to thank our Supreme Grand Governor for those powerful words. Keep my little paper here so I put the notes on. In the chapter it says, man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah. And while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the sea will have full open out, will have unfolded in the holy breath. The God of soul will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore. And it will pass and be no more, and man will then
obtain unto the blessedness of perfectedness, and at one with Allah. Islam?
Islam.
Let's stop there for a minute. The prophet tells us that when we have conquered all of those foes, then the soul we have will be no more. When the soul is no more, of course, the body is already no more.
That's right.
See, we already been elevated. So as long as you're on this plane, as long as we're on this plane, then there is some lesson that we need to learn.
That's right.
See, and that's where, if we keep that in mind, see, we'll keep ourselves humble sometimes, you know, in these lessons, because every day, you know, every day that I wake up, I find that just when I thought I had mastered something, just when I thought I knew the answer, lo and behold, I was in the classroom again, learning all over again. See, because it's just when we think we have it. You know, years ago, based upon the teachings of this chapter, my teacher told me, he said, like a temple. He said a temple must be built upon the principle of love. See, now once the nucleus of the temple has surrounded and became absorbed in that love, then whatever pressures that come upon that temple, that come upon that circle, is easier to ward off.
Islam.
Because there's love in the center. See, and that's very important for us to understand. See, because without the love piece, tolerance won't exist. See, when I look at Admiral Rayburn in Jesus, when I look at Lazarus in Jesus, both of these were masterminds. They were masters. But in order to learn from Jesus, they had to yield. They had to be quiet for a minute and allow him to teach. In order for us to grow and unfold, we have to be quiet for a minute and let the prophet teach us. See, we got to stop. What I've seen happen is stop trying to teach the prophet. Huh? Yeah, we got to stop trying to teach the prophet.
That's right, Mom.
And let the prophet teach us. That's why you have so many people attach so many strange things to this. Because they're not allowing the prophet to teach. They teach. Prophets say one thing, now they're going to tell you, say, yeah, that's what the prophet meant. I had one brother go as far to say the prophet was setting up there with the Moorish flag in his hand, but he didn't really mean that. He meant something else. See, that's how far we can get away from the purpose and meaning of chapter 1. See, that's what we have to understand, the beauty of this chapter and what the prophet gives us in this chapter. He said, when man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then serve his purpose well and won't fall and will be no more. See, letting you know, if you still walking around here in the flesh, no, you have not conquered all of those things.
That's right.
It's simple as that. We still got some things to work on.
That's right.
Now, how do working on these things go in conjunction with this chapter? See, in order for me to work on the problems I had, I got to help you work on yours. They said, no, how can you do that? The book tells me that the very minute my life is no more benefit to another, then I have lived too long.
That's right, Mom.
So if my living is predicated on my sharing, and I want to live, then I got to share.
That's right.
I got to share my life I got to share my experience.
That's right.
See, and then here's the part that we all seem to have a problem with. As we going through our struggles, and we hit our toe and we stump, somebody else hit their toe and say, ow. If we don't watch ourselves, we'll have something to say about that. Oh, I know you just didn't say ow when you hit your foot. You know, because I didn't say ow. See, but it don't work that way.
That's right.
Everybody's journey is different.
That's right.
See,
Come on now.
everybody is at a different place because the prophet said he knows where every member
That's a fact.
is along the
That's a
way.
fact.
See, because members are at different places. Now, here where we come into the masterful
That's right.
teachings. See, the prophet understood, watch this here, that every member was on a different place in their growth. But when he spoke in one voice. He laid the law down in one stroke. Some might not have understood it right then. Some might have to yet to understand it. But he didn't change the law.
That's right.
See, he laid it out because he knew that if we kept striving, if we kept trying, then we would be able to get that.
Praise Allah.
You understand? He didn't have to water it down for one or raise it up for another.
Right.
He gave it to us straight. See, when you read this, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you how beautiful Prophet Noble Drew Ali is. He tells us that Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world.
That's right, bro.
Whether you got shoes on, whether you don't. Whether you got a car or whether you walking. Whether you working or whether you broke. Whether you got two arms or one, it doesn't change that Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world.
That's right.
Then he says to the members, he said, all members, I don't care if you're working, I don't care if you got children. He said you ought to promptly attend your meeting. He didn't water it down. Now, is he being rude? Of course not. Because throughout his list, he also used this statement here. He said, if you are able.
That's right.
Like when he talks about your money.
That's right.
He said, you working and got money in the bank, subscribe for months is what? You're able.
That's right.
You understand? So he didn't put a burden on us no matter how you look at it. You know? And though Friday is a holy day, and he know you was down there working, but he wanted to understand, you understand that Friday is the holy day of rest for all Muslims all over the world. And if you can't be here, you're still supposed to recognize that Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. See? It's like prayer. And I know Muslims in the world, they get upset with us. They say, oh, they don't pray like us. See, but when you look at the command of God, the first command of God is to pray. Manner of prayer is always second, because you might be born without arms and legs. Then you tell me you can't go to heaven because you can't go through the prostration? Can't be.
That's right.
Can't be. That's an illusion. The first demonstration is to pray, to call on the sacred name of God. See, because if we don't call on the name of God, we ain't got nothing anyway. We don't have nothing anyway. Let me see. What does the time look like? Oh, praise be to God. Woo! I tell you, I want to just look down in the record for a minute. See, because as you study this chapter, chapter 1 in the Holy Quran, this is a chapter that truly, you should try to study at least every week. Out of all the chapters in the Quran, you should try to study this one every week. See, because the more you study this chapter, the more the chapter unfolds. More you'll be able to understand that there's a silver cord that runs through these chapters. See, once you understand and begin to understand chapter 1, then you know that chapter 1 is connected to chapter 3, and chapter 3 is connected to chapter 7. Chapter 7 is connected to chapter 11. Chapter 11 is connected to chapter 38, and that's your silver cord. You know what I mean? You know that. Why? Because it works right on through there. You know? You end up in that chapter 38, and the prophet tells you in there, I want to read something from chapter 38 for a minute. Chapter 38 is the soul of man. It say thinking, understanding, reason, willing. Call not these the soul. They are its actions, but it's not its essence. Something's actions is its attributes, aren't they? In chapter 1 it say these soul
That's right.
attributes.
That's right.
You understand? Became a body beautiful. You understand? These soul attributes, thinking, understanding, reason, and willing, came a body beautiful. Why? Because consciousness was reposed upon thee, unlike any other. You understand? That's why. See? That's why. All these chapters go together and know thyself. Fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Praise therefore thy creator with awe, and rejoice before him with reverence. You say, wherefore of all creatures art thou only erect, but thou shouldest behold his works. They say we erect. We stand up so that we can truly behold and look and draw in and take in the wonders of God's creation. That's why we're like that. You understand? That's why we're created so wonderfully. You know, so that we can begin to exercise those senses that enable you to touch, to smell, to enjoy God's creation and your place in it. See, that's what we have to understand. What is our place in it? Truth is a strange thing, you know. It's like a sword. You know, a double-edged one at that. See, when the truth comes, right, you have to watch it. See, because as it swing one way, it comes the other one too. See, truth swing both ways.
Absolutely.
See, just because it went that way, you say, you forgot it's coming back your way. So you gotta be right. You gotta be right. See, the truth, it's that sword. It's that double-edged sword, you know. And I always say that, right, because oftentimes, one of the things we do when we set out to learn things like this, we'll start learning. And as you begin to learn a few things, get a few words up under your belt. Don't let you get a couple of verses. See, the first thing we do is this here. We either go out and we look for somebody to beat on, you understand? Why? Because we got a few things and they ain't. So we want to exercise our demonstration. But the prophet says this here. And I'm going to just flip over here into, I think it's 26, somewhere where he talks about the gifts of the understanding, holy instructions of unity. He said, has he endowed thee with wisdom? He asked you. Has he enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth? He said, communicate it to the ignorant for their instruction. If he done gave you these things.
That's right.
He said, communicate it to the wise. That means it's somebody who know like you or more than you for your own improvement. Otherwise, you'll be in a little fishbowl, flexing your muscles like you the baddest thing in the bowl.
That's right.
See, but you got to test these lessons against life. You got to test them against life.
That's right.
You got to take these lessons out in the life. This is what it is. It ain't. You don't know you got these lessons when everything going all right.
That's right.
That's not when you know you got these lessons. These lessons come in when you ain't got that job no more. You understand? When you're sick and down in your bed. You know how we do sometimes. Why did God do this to me? We even get so bad when we're sick, we might even start cursing God. You understand? But that's when you know you got these lessons. It don't mean you got these lessons when you got this job over here. You got 2, 3 cars and doing good and nothing wrong. But when stuff come against you, you understand? When things rise up against you, when things unexpected happen, that's when you got to find out whether you have these lessons. When disappointment hits you, you got to know whether you got these lessons. I know if I didn't run strong, if I didn't call on God, disappointment would have flattened me a long time ago because I've been disappointed in many of things, including myself.
That's right.
See, but
That's right. That's right. That's a fact.
you got to hold on to the never changing, unchanging hand of God. You got to hold on. See, because if you don't hold on to God's hand, then nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Not near man, not near woman, not near man or woman. can guide you to your salvation. Not one. The prophet, he gives you a lesson. And the prophet ain't just a man. The prophet is a thought of God manifested in flesh. So when the prophet talking to you, God talking to you. Other than that, can't nobody, you can't secure my salvation.
That's right.
You can't.
That's right.
And when I'm sick, you can't bring me back. Because I've been sick. And it was God who brought me back. See, that's what we have to understand. That's what this is about. This ain't about Edward Seal. This ain't about Wright Hill, Turner Hill, or Turner Bay. It ain't about this. It's about God and you getting in line with God. And let me tell you something. When you start getting a little gray up in your head and stuff. See, that's like Brother Loveville say. That's when you need to stop talking too much. You need to start praying more. Because you ain't got that much more time. See, this is what we got to understand. See, that's the other part about trying to get right with God. It ain't about getting right with me. Stop trying to be right with me. Because I'm not trying to be right with you. I'm trying to be right with God. And if I make a mistake along the way, it is God that I have to deal with. It is God that I have to cry out in the night and beg for mercy to. Not you.
That's right.
And you not me.
That's right.
Call on God like we're supposed to. Follow God and do this not because of me, not even because of your selfish self. Do it for God. Because God commanded man to do it. Do it like that. See, when we do like that, then we won't be a whole lot of this and that. You won't. See, if I wake up in the morning for God, then I won't be upset with you because you got up late.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
I've got to get up for God because he told me to get up.
That's a fact.
See, that's where that's at. See, it's about God, really. Because I'm going to tell you something seriously. I know,
Come on,
you
God.
cannot
That's right.
bring nothing into life that doesn't follow the pattern that God gave. See, because you, like me, we are a part of the world of creation. We're not a part of the world of command. Only God said, come, come. Only God said, be, and it is.
That's right.
We say be, and you got to wonder what's happening.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes.
We got to follow the law and go through the process to bring forth something. You know, it's like men who have taken a life on this plane.
Yes.
And I know because I fall in that. The prophet said, if you have taken a life, you shall not enjoy your own. Don't you know I personally understand that? Because what I had taken a life.
Yes, sir.
So when he was talking to me too.
That's right.
I understand our sufferings.
That's right.
You understand? Because I done understand what I done on God's earth.
That's right.
I know I got to go through some stuff.
That's right.
I know I got to walk through the fire.
That's right.
I know that. You got to know that you do too for the
That's right.
things you have done on God's earth.
That's
Because you have not escaped His wrath.
That's right, man.
See, just because we put on some clean clothes, just because we done walked straight for a couple of years, that don't change the dirt that we have done in the past. We got to pay for that dirt, don't you know it?
It's fine, man.
That's why you got to continue to keep walking right.
That's right.
It ain't a one-time thing.
That's right.
It ain't a one-time thing. That's why they tell you, you understand, sometimes when we get upset with one another. That's why a long time ago I was given a lesson. See, don't go to sleep on that stuff. You ain't got time to carry that stuff through earth. You ain't got time for that. Because God has no room for that.
That's right.
See, because the record tell you that God is a merciful God. They tell you don't hold on to that stuff.
Right.
See, but man, oh no.
That's right.
We might strive, but we ain't got there yet. Because we hold on to every flinch that we run into. We hold on to every cat that step in our shoe. Yes, we do. And can't rise up. And we have no mercy for no one and cannot believe that someone could be forgiven. No, we don't.
It's fine, man.
We don't. Why you think the prophet had to tell you? Why you think he had to tell me?
That's right, man.
You think you know how to be a man, but the prophet came and taught us how to be a man. You think you know how to be a woman, but the prophet had to come and tell you. We think we can even choose women and choose men, but the prophet gives you an outline of what you should be looking for in
That's a
life.
fact.
He said, for feet dwell not in thy father's house. He's telling you that for a reason.
That's right.
You understand? He's telling you a lot of things, you know, throughout the record, so we can understand. And here's the thing about these records. They're so good. And this is what I learned about more science right here. See, you could be doing something. Huh? You could be doing something today out of order. You understand? And God used you tomorrow to clear that up, to bring that lesson out. You know, I remember one time I used to tell a brother, I said, take me a drink. I said, so now they call me to speak. I can't talk about drinking because I drink. See, but that ain't how that go. If drinking is wrong, you understand? I still got to say drinking is wrong,
Right.
whether I'm doing it or not.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? You got to call a spade, and then don't get hung there.
That's right.
Do what you're supposed to do. Say it, move on.
That's just like that.
Say it and move on.
That's right.
See, ain't used to hang in there.
That's right.
See? Because our breath stinks sometimes, all
That's
our
right.
breath stinks sometimes.
That's right.
When my breath stinks, say it stink. I'll go ahead and clean it up.
That's right.
You understand? But ain't you standing around the corner pointing at me telling me my breath stinking and wonder why I ain't clean.
That's right.
Maybe you should do your God-given command
That's right.
and be my brother.
That's right.
And minister, it's like these titles we got to say, the divine ministry. Why you think we got them? Huh? Why do you think we got them? To minister to the unconscious Asiatic? We got them to minister to anybody.
That's right.
Anybody.
That's
That's
right.
including each other.
That's right.
Matter of fact, here's the sad thing I